Hi, everybody. Welcome to our number 3 interview for the Thompson Technique. Today, we have a really special guest, Dr. Donna Craft, who is so accomplished. It's such an honor to have her with us today. Donna, correct me if I'm wrong, but this is just what I know about you.
Okay.
That you are a former president of the National Board of Chiropractic Examiners. You are a Palmer grad
Mhm.
and you have a diplomate in pediatrics.
Right.
You were named the Michigan Chiropractor of the Year, and you were one of the founders of the Women Chiropractic Group, WDC.
You got it. The only
Wow.
thing I would add that is a pleasure to do is I now serve as a trustee on Palmer's board.
Oh,
Also,
how wonderful.
yeah.
Yes.
So all
So,
of the above is good though.
well, thank you for all of your service to chiropractic. Wow, amazing. Well, I know that you come from a big chiropractic family.
Mhm.
So, can you just tell everyone how you became a chiropractor?
Sure. So I am number 13 in my family of chiropractors, but I have almost 40, 30 some cousins. So, it's a big family. And the very first uncle who graduated was Dr. Ray Elwert. And you may know Dr. Cindy Schaff Toll, and that was his youngest daughter. And her and I are the same age. So growing up, I would spend time at Cindy's house and she would spend time at our house. Our moms were sisters. And then the other person who graduated right around that time was Uncle Ray's brother, Dr. Walter L. Wertowski, whose daughter is Dr. Nancy Cooper.
Right.
So we all grew up, within a half hour, one way or the other of each other. So always together at family get-togethers. And when I was about in junior high, when I would be at Cindy's house, we got to work in the office. We put patients in the room and we got to empty the trash cans and exciting things like that. And Uncle Ray always had Thompson tables.
Right.
Loved them. And it was all about, he had a very high volume practice. And it was all about like, it wears on your body. What we do is very physical and it's hard physically. So you should have the best equipment that is the easiest on your body, adjusting all these patients. So the other thing we did is I had the opportunity to go to homecomings with Cindy's family every year. And then decided about ninth or 10th grade to go to chiropractic college. And
Wow.
so that was always a goal. And in the meantime, took undergrad classes and then worked at Uncle Ray's office for a while. And actually in high school and summers, I worked for Uncle Walter in his office. And I didn't even drive yet. My parents would drive me 20 minutes one way in the morning and then come and pick me up so I could get experience, working in the office. But it really did pay off because when I was in college, it's like, I had no qualms about opening an office. I knew how to do insurance. I knew how to run the front desk. I could train a staff. But anyway, so in the meantime, did undergraduate, got married, and my favorite ex-husband decided to become a chiropractor. So we went out to school together, married, and then came back. But always, like in college, at Palmer at the time, Thompson wasn't taught as part of the core curriculum. So I paid the extra whatever to take the class on, I don't know if it was weekends, so many weekends or nights and weekends, I don't remember, but Dr. Wayne Zamelka
Hmm.
actually taught the class. And then your grandfather came in and signed our certificates, and we were
Wow.
so thrilled to meet Dr. Thompson, which was probably just grandpa to you.
Right. Oh, wow. So you've really been in chiropractic since you were born. I mean, it's
Yeah,
just,
just about. I think
yeah.
I think Uncle Gray graduated in 62 and we were born in 58. So there you go. Yeah,
I,
a lot of
I,
years. And when we went and visited Uncle Ray, we got an adjustment. It was just all part of it. Or if we were sick, we got an adjustment. Or we went to Uncle Walter's office, but it was like that was kind of like our primary health care.
right. Well, we plan on having Cindy as a guest in the future
Great.
because she told me that her dad actually assisted my grandpa early on with techniques and that, my grandfather wanted him to travel with him, but he didn't want to leave his family. So
Yeah.
I know your family has deep roots with the Thompson technique. And
Yes. And so I've always had one. I mean, I've always had a Thompson table. I like a lot of other chiropractors use a mishmash of techniques as far as diversified and pierced still wagon. And I had a flexion distraction table when Leander first came out because I'm 5 foot, 100 and some pounds. And it's like, I can't do a side posture on a 250-pound guy. I'm not tall enough. My arm's not long enough. And it too much physically for me. And so, having those drop pieces are godsend, in using the technique. So I I've used it all the time.
Right. I think for women or smaller doctors, it's a lifesaver, and it really levels the playing field for us because I'm not very big and strong myself, but I have a lot of really big patients that come through the door, these big muscly guys, and I never feel insecure. I know with that table that I'll be able to take care of anyone. Where if I had to do a side posture on one of these guys, I would, like my grandpa would say, it would be like a flea, jumping on an elephant. It would be impossible. And
That's a good analogy. And they're built so well. I mean, they're heavy duty.
yeah,
I mean, the drop pieces are crisp, and then having the air compressor, having the pneumatic part of it. Oh man, it's a breeze to adjust patients, and I see now how my uncles, who saw 3 times the amount of patients I did in a day, could do that for many, many years. And that's the one thing with WDC, Women Chiropractors, we try to encourage women is do not scrimp on your equipment because that is your workload. You are doing it every day, or almost every day and all day long, and your body will take its toll.
yeah.
You
I
know?
mean, people say, "Oh, I'll get a drop table, but I'm gonna get a cheaper brand, or I'm gonna get like a lever or foot, kind of like a foot activation where they just have to pump the table with their feet." And that seems fine in the beginning, maybe when you're just seeing a handful of patients a day. But as you get busier in practice, if you're having to physically lift the patient up before every thrust, it's definitely going to take a toll on your body. And I mean, I know classmates of mine who are no longer in practice because they've blown out their lumbar spine or they've blown out their shoulder. And they were really strong, fit people. So it's just that constant wear and tear on your body that does take a toll if you're using a more high force adjusting technique.
Yes, when I went to get disability insurance, they said the two professions that had the hardest time and they were cutting out a lot of the disability was chiropractors and orthopedic surgeons, and it's lumbar disc and wrists. But I have to tell you about one of those tables where you push with your foot to bring the drop up. I had never used one. I was at a friend's office and visiting an old classmate, and I went to adjust her and I pushed on that to adjust her. And I thought, there's no way I could do this all day. My hip would be killing me.
Yeah, yeah.
She's not that heavy. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, a 300-pound patient I have come in is like, let me jump on that and get that up for her.
And with the lever action, you have to take your hands off of your contact to raise that lever. So it's not as precise, I don't think, because you're constantly having to go back and forth and find your segmental contact point every time you raise the table. And
Mhm.
with the Zenith tables, especially with the hydraulic tables and the air compressor, you spend time adjusting patients, not adjusting your table. And
Yep.
so it is really a time saver and a body saver. And also, let's face it, the patients enjoy that it's not
Yes.
as rough of an adjustment.
Yeah. It's funny though, I worked with a couple guys who are much taller than I, like 6 foot. And so, every morning I go and it's like, where are my levers? Because, on a few of them, the older table didn't have the strip. It had like, I'll say push button on the foot, but it would be like way high. It's like, there's no way I can reach that with my foot. You're not going to bring it closer to where I am. Those long legged guys.
Well, I wanted to have you tell everyone about all the good work that you're doing with the Women Chiropractor group.
Oh my
Because
goodness.
there's still some people out there that aren't familiar with the group,
Mhm.
and I actually found out about it several years ago on social media. And so please tell everyone about the group and what the group is doing for women chiropractors.
Sure. So Women Chiropractors started out as a Facebook group, and a lot of people think that's all we are. And actually, Dr. Cindy, Dr. Nancy, and a few other female docs started this Facebook group. And just by word of mouth, it started like more and more and more. And Dr. Cindy, they asked me to get involved because they realized there was a real need for more than just a Facebook group. And so she had filed for a 501c3, and then we worked on bylaws and got that all figured out. And so now we have an actual organization. We have 2 levels of membership. We have pro and platinum, depending on basically number one, what you can afford to pay, and what access you want. Like we have a platinum retreat for our higher level paying members to get together once a year and different things like that. But the Facebook group is very cool because, we have almost 10,000 women or women chiropractors or students, female students on the Facebook page, but we vet everyone. You have to give us your license number or your student number, to make sure you really are a chiropractor. And we approve all the posts. So it takes a lot of work, to make sure, like, you can't be mean, you can't be argumentative, things like that. But you can ask any question. There's no dumb question. And I learn something new every day off the Facebook group. But the other thing we do, and you'll see those around the country, are WDC Connects. So this year we have about 9 connects scheduled. They're one-day events that women can go to, all female docs. We bring in different speakers, like it may be a little bit of business. It's not all CE. Some are 0 CE. Some business, some motivation, or philosophy, some clinical, and always some adaptive adjusting, hands-on technique stuff in the afternoon, from 9 to 5. If you go to our website, yay, we just redid the website and have a new one this year, which was a big labor of love. It's womenchiropractors.org. So womenchiropractors.org, and the connects are on there, and you can sign up for one of those. A few of them do have CE. So we're doing that. The other thing we're doing is participating to get more female doctors on the stage. It's a huge problem with our state organizations, and some of the national ones. Like, we cringe when we see an organization that has 0 female doctors, or 1, and this female doctor is teaching your staff. Like, really? I mean, right now, we're about almost 30% of the population of doctors, but in the schools, it's 50%. So that's going to change our profession tremendously. And so we want to support those women, because if there are a lot of women that have gone through school and don't practice because they've decided to have children, or they've decided to practice very, very part-time, like maybe even, and some have just do mobile practice. I mean, not that it's all good for whatever you can do, but if the female doctors aren't successful, what are the schools and the organizations going to do? Like, who's going to be contributing and giving back to those communities? So our goal is to help women figure out how to balance it. How do you balance a family? I mean, you would know, I don't have children, but how do you balance that out and still maintain a practice? And they do it. I mean, there are ways to do it, but as you know, it's very stressful. And so we want to support them.
Yeah.
So anything we can do, any ideas, we try to do that. And then the other thing we do is every few years, we do a conference that is totally female doctors. We try to have 99.9% female speakers, which gives a whole different vibe and feel. So we call it the unconvention, because like we had belly dancing in the pool, other than it wasn't great weather. So we didn't do it in the pool, but we had like a fashion consultant come in, and just some very unique speakers that you're not going to get at a normal, whether it be a state or national convention. So we have some clinical stuff too, don't get me wrong, but it's like a nice balance. So our next one is October next year, 2023. So you'll be seeing some information, come out about that. It will be in Scottsdale. So we've already, obviously booked our hotel and all that. And the last thing that women chiropractors do is we do what is called a reentry program. And I don't know if you've had the opportunity to participate in that, Beth. We take a group of women that are struggling. They're not making it in practice. They want to get back in practice. They may have gotten out, or they just need help getting to that next level. It's no cost to them. We spend 6 months with them every week, and it's basically free coaching. Come in and tell us what your goal is, set your goal, what's your vision, and then hold them accountable. And we have our different platinum members come in and speak to them. It may be about business, it may be about marketing, and there's different subjects, and they have homework, each time. And they had come back and like, where are you at? And then in the end of May, at 1st of June, they're graduated or done. And we celebrate with Women Chiropractors Day on June 5th, which we had registered. Dr. Pachansky had registered for International Women Chiropractors Day. June 5th was Dr. Mabel Heath Palmer's birthday. So we thought that was a big honor to do that for her. And because she was so encouraging for women to be chiropractors, of, how you can balance a family and have a profession and things like that. So anyways, we do that, and we give out a $1,000 scholarship. You have to tell us what Women Chiropractors means to you and what you plan to do with the money. And so it's fun to do all that. And a lot of social media stuff goes on. Our sponsors, who have been fabulous, donate different prizes. And for our paying members, we give out prizes all day that day. And we hold all our posts that day. And it's just either videos from us of why we're involved with this organization, because the board members, there's 8 of us now, and there's been previous board members who have all put in a ton of time. And as you know, with a foundation, you get paid that much.
Well, I love everything that your group is doing. And it is true that when you're in chiropractic college as a woman, you're told, oh, you can have it all, you can have the family, do the practice, no worries, piece of cake. And then you graduate and you start having your family, and you're like, wait a minute, this is really tough, it's really hard to balance everything. And so it's great that we have all of you as great role models for our young women that are starting their families and new in practice. And for those women that did take time off, it's really intimidating. Like, say you take a few years off to raise your family, it's really intimidating to go back into practice because your skills might be a little rusty, and you just have that insecurity, like, do I really still have it? And so you give these women an opportunity to get the best coaching and the best advice on how to get back into chiropractic. And I just love that and appreciate that so much. I'm very proud of our profession because growing up with a grandfather that was a chiropractor, he had so many women chiropractor friends and colleagues. And so, as a young girl growing up, I always saw chiropractic as a profession that welcomed women and treated women well. And I'm really proud of that heritage. And I think we just need to continue building on that. And that is exactly what you guys are doing with the Women Chiropractic Group.
Yeah, and Uncle Ray, when he went to chiropractic college with 3 children and being married, because he had an issue, and a female chiropractor who he went to helped him, and he was so impressed with that he decided to do that as a profession. So years ago, I'll say before World War II, women chiropractors, it was very common. It was really after the war and the GI Bill and things like that where I think our profession became, I'll use the word male dominated, or at least the majority of the practitioners. I know in school, I always said at meetings, oh my gosh, I was like the token female. And I think that's the real tough part with leadership positions. It's like, if you have a practice, it's all you can do is to get your kids to soccer practice, or get to see them before they go to bed at night, or get dinner or whatever. And then to say, oh yeah, and I'm going to go to a meeting. I mean, it's like
Right.
that. It's really tough when children are little. I mean, it's different, when they're teenagers and they don't want to hang out with you anyways.
Exactly. Well, I just wanted to kind of wrap up with just asking you, is there any advice or words of wisdom that you could give any maybe chiropractic students or new chiropractors as they start this wonderful adventure of being a chiropractor?
I think being determined, and what my dad used to always say is keep on trucking. It's like it didn't matter if it was school or work or whatever the issues were, just keep working hard. Keep on trucking. And it's not like I woke up one day and said, hey, I'm going to do this and this and this. It's just like being involved. And people said, hey, we want to put your name up for the state licensing board. Okay, if I can help out, whatever. And then I'm at a meeting and it's like, we want to put your name up for national board. Okay. I mean, it's not like I woke up one day and said, oh, I want to be on national board, but it's like getting that involvement and networking, I think. But to put yourself out there a little bit, say yes. If somebody asks you, say yes.
Great. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank
Well,
you,
I
Beth.
hope you have a great holiday weekend, and I appreciate you so much. And I really am thankful for you for being a part of our Thompson podcast today.
All right. Thanks, Beth. Have a
Bye
good weekend.
bye.
Bye
Thank
bye.
you.